Hello everybody, this is WereWING 11, and welcome to the first episode of a 4-part review series I'll be doing on the Five Nights at Freddy's series. This series will go over each of the 3 games in the series, and will go in-depth into story, fan theories, and the mechanics of each game. The final episode of the series will be devoted to fan community and various fan-made Five Nights at Freddy's games. So sit back, relax, grab a nice large piece of pizza, because we're diving in. Five Nights at Freddy's is an indie horror game created by Christian game developer Scott Cawthon. Scott has made many games in the past, mostly family-friendly in tone. The idea for Five Nights at Freddy's came from many reviews on a prior game. In that game, you played as a beaver. Needless to say, the reviews were less than complimentary to all of Scott's hard work on it. Reviewers went on to say that the characters looked like scary animatronic animals. Scott felt quite depressed afterwards, but says, "Then one night, something just snapped in me, and I thought to myself, I bet I can make something a lot scarier than that." Then, he went to work on the first Five Nights game. The development process took roughly 6 months, but in the end, testing was successful and the game came out. That's when the internet took over. It started with a YouTuber named Yami Mash, and moved on from there. Everyone began playing it, loving it, and claiming it to be the scariest horror game ever made. It even went on to win 3 separate Fear Awards for Most Original, Best New IP, and Best Monster. But honestly, what makes the internet rave over these games so much? Sure, they're original, sure, they're scary, but let's delve deeper into the story of Five Nights at Freddy's. That's right, Five Nights at Freddy's isn't just some arcade-style game where you pop in, play a few nights, and are done. There's actually a deep underlying story to the series. As you play, you get messages from a character only known as the Phone Guy. In these messages, he not only tells you how to play the game in tutorial-esque fashion, but gives a bit of story to the events currently taking place. Here's the gist of what the Phone Guy tells you.
Hello? Hello? I wanted to record a message for you.
Freddy Fazbear's Pizza is a popular family restaurant, or it was, until an incident in 1987 occurred, resulting in somebody getting injured by an animatronic character and losing their frontal lobe. We learned that the animatronic characters tend to wander around the restaurant at night because, if they don't, their servos will probably lock up. Then we learned that the Phone Guy decided to come to the restaurant and try to inspect the empty heads in the restaurant's back room, which results in his death. Or, so we're led to believe. And that's pretty much it for the story that's directly given to us. But diving even deeper, there's even more story. Sometimes posters on the walls will change around the restaurant, some turning into old newspaper articles regarding the old restaurant. We find that 5 children went missing inside the restaurant, but their bodies were never found, supposedly stuffed inside the animatronic suits. That would leave 1 child for each suit. "But WereWING, there's only 4 animatronics. How can 5 kids be distributed between them?" Actually, there's a 5th hidden as an Easter egg in the game. Fans dubbed him Golden Freddy, as he seems like an exact copy of the normal Freddy animatronic, but with golden yellow body instead of brown. We find out through the newspaper readings that a suspect for the murders was found and taken in very shortly after the disappearances took place, but the body's still never to be found. To me personally, as a developer and player of video games, I find story to be one of the most important factors in any game. If a game doesn't have a compelling story, I probably won't be a big fan of it. Now let me tell you this. I love Five Nights at Freddy's, and the story is one of the creepiest I've seen in horror games in a long while. It's honestly disturbing. Let me also mention that horror games do not scare me. I don't jump at jump scares. I like the creepy noises, things like that. Those things in this game don't bug me whatsoever. The thing that I find scary is the story. It's well thought out, it's well hidden in the background, not something that's right in your face, but something you have to think about in order to find. We're almost done here. The last thing to talk about is the gameplay itself. Five Nights at Freddy's has an amazingly simple way to play. You have security cameras to check, you have doors and lights on either side of your office, and that's basically it. The animatronics all work very differently from one another. Bonnie is practically constantly active and goes to your left door. Chica's also very active and goes to your right. Foxy stays hidden if you look at him with your camera, but you can't always look at him. Freddy becomes more active as time goes by and can sneak into your office and also attacks you from the darkness when your power goes out. You have a limited supply of power, so you can't always be looking at the cameras or having your lights on or keeping the doors closed. Each of those things uses power. It's a very basic yet strategic form of gameplay, having to last 6 in-game hours in every level. Every aspect of the gameplay is thought through and is used in a way that's easy to maintain, but is difficult all at the same time. I really like this game, which is why my overall rating of the first Five Nights at Freddy's is an 8 out of 10. That might seem a little high for the very short length of the game, but it works. It has replayability if you consider the story, and if you try and find out more, the replayability is there. Scott Cawthon did an amazing job with this game. I think so, the internet thinks so, and Scott was happy with his work. How do we know he was happy with it? Well, 3 months later, he released a second game. So, yeah.